Christmas is here once again. As always, it is a time of family, a time of joy and reflection, and there is much to reflect on this year. 2025, a quarter of the way through the 21st century. And, of course, the 25th anniversary of the release of the PS2. What a fucking goated console. Those were the days. Perhaps most notably, 2025 saw the release of the new Nintendo console, the Switch 2. One began the year with the highest of hopes for this new era of Nintendo after the Switch 1 generation. Well, if the Switch 1 was Prince William making the aging royal family of Nintendo relevant and popular again, the Switch 2 is his fucking dickhead little brother Harry dragging it back through the mud, finding all new ways to fucking disappoint us all. It's true that Donkey Kong Bonanza was nothing short of a masterpiece, an absolute blast from start to finish. Kirby Air Riders, while not my cup of tea, was enjoyed by many. It fills one with a sense of pride and gratitude to see our loyal knight, Sir Sakurai, get to cook on something that isn't Smash Brothers. And then there was Metroid Prime 4. Expectations were understandably high after so long. I mean, even my immortal mother fucking died waiting for it. And of course, one could not help but sweat as nervously as Prince Andrew at the baffling and irritating inclusion of hand-holding and Marvel quipping in fucking Metroid.
Okay, that did not sound friendly.
You need to open the big door in this room. Would you like to hear that again?
But despite this yellow paint-wearing millennial cunt, the game was, in my opinion, great. One truly understands its mixed reception, but I am the king. So if I say Samus on a psychic-powered sci-fi motorbike called Viola is cool as fuck, then it's cool as fuck.
By order of the king.
That was totally wicked!
These three games, sadly, are the only credit I can give Nintendo. Mario Kart World was in fact not worth the price of admission. Then came these overpriced Switch 2 editions. £8 for basic performance upgrades in Zelda that most games just do by a patch. Oh, sorry, and access to a shitty app you might use like once.
We are not amused.
£17 for like 5 recycled stages in
The Kirby and the Forgotten Land Gate on the Nintendo Switch 2 system.
My God, why the fuck do they talk like that?
The Animal Crossing New Horizons Nintendo Switch 2 Edition game.
Exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2 system.
Jesus Christ, I'm literally being voiced by an AI right now, and I sound more human than that. Most seemed happy to see GameCube games come to Switch Online, but I find myself only asking why these classic games are still tied to a subscription service. We then began to see that the vast majority of physical games for the system are in fact about as physical as my relationship with Camilla.
Game keycards don't contain any game data. After inserting the game keycard, connect to the internet to download game data.
Mario's 40th anniversary was this year, and the only new game he's getting is the next Mario Tennis slop from the conveyor belt of obligatory Mario sports games. Do not even get one started on that insulting, fucking useless plastic shell of Nintendo's worst ever system, overpriced games. Fucking patenting common game mechanics. If you buy a used game and the cartridge has been tampered with, it'll block your system and account, thus discouraging the purchase of cheaper used games. Nintendo have gone full greed and full anti-consumer in every possible way, and I've only hit the tip of the iceberg. To say that one's feelings on them have soured this past year would be an understatement. But I do not wish to spend this whole speech on them, so let us instead move on to some good shit in the world of gaming this year. While the Mario Kart World hype fizzled out quicker than Liz Truss as Prime Minister, along came our boy Sonic to pick up the kart racing crown, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. It was packed full of charm and content, and unlike Mario Kart, still has plenty of new characters and tracks to come. I also loved Oblivion Remastered, even if one is always reluctant to hand their easily inherited cash over to Bethesda. I had not played the original game and saw the remaster as a great opportunity. Clair Obscur was a refreshing, creative RPG that took the gaming world by storm. The MGS3 remake took me back to being a young, big-eared prince. Camilla and I even roleplayed as Snake and Eva on some particularly memorable nights. Anyway. We even got motherfucking titty-sucking, Harry-cucking Silksong, if one can indeed believe it. Just as the game was starting to feel about as real as Diana's death being an accident. You didn't hear that from me. But let us not shower all of the praise on games which have already received it. I want to look at some lesser-known gems that really cooked for real, bro, and deserve your time. Shinobi, Art of Vengeance, was a fantastic callback. We Brits are all about tradition, and Shinobi was full of them. A load of secrets to find, awesome music, badass 2D combat, and some tough-ass bosses. And just fucking look at that wonderful hand-drawn art style. I just know my dear Papa would have loved this one. He was partial to Shinobi 3, back on the Sega Mega Drive, or Genesis to you, uncultured Yanks. I want to give a royal shout-out to the kings and queens over at Teon for RoboCop Rogue City. Unfinished business. I thoroughly enjoyed the original game, and getting more of it in a very substantial DLC was a wonderful surprise this year. If there's one thing we royals love, it's collecting tons and tons of shiny shit. So naturally, one is a big fan of 3D platformers. As I am also a fan of the King of the Sea, SpongeBob SquarePants, I had a lot of fun with Titans of the Tide last month. One simply cannot go wrong with some simple, colorful platforming fun. It really is refreshing, like returning to one's youth. And SpongeBob's charming and wacky world lends itself so very well to the genre. There were, of course, disappointments. Doom: The Dark Ages was one of my most anticipated games this year. The soundtrack was a decent enough effort, one supposes, but felt empty and was sorely missing the legendary Mick Gordon. Bad pacing, repetitive parry-based combat, waste of time, dragon and mech levels, open areas that sound good in theory until you're spending your time backtracking through them. What a waste. Another long-awaited game, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, was just absolute shit. And holy shit, I spent so much time ranting about Nintendo, but goddamn did Xbox shit the bed too. Laying off a load of staff, releasing a fucking $1,000 handheld, hiking up Game Pass prices to where even my kingly ass is like, nah, I'm good, fam. But then, in November, shone a beacon of hope. Valve unveiled, at long last, the Steam Machine. Besides having a name that goes harder than it probably should, the Steam Machine is at long last the middle ground between console and PC. Finally, a company that actually seems to value their customers is throwing their hat in the console field. Great news for poor saps who aren't rich beyond imagination, like yours truly, and cannot afford the money or time to build a good gaming PC. It's decided. When I die, I want Gabe N to inherit the throne. God save Gabe Newell. So overall, I feel that 2025 as a year in gaming has been one of the years of all time. Truly, a year in gaming indeed. Of all the years in gaming, this is one of them. Oblivion and MGS Delta are great, but are remakes. Silksong, if I may commit blasphemy, just wasn't for me. As a fan of Hollow Knight, one's slower pace and its more balanced challenge. Doom was disappointing. I avoided Hyrule Warriors since Age of Calamity was boring and Age of Imprisonment is based on the worst Zelda story.
The Demon King.
My secret stone.
Secret stone.
I know.
That was the imprisoning.
And one just couldn't give less of a fuck about Death Stranding 2, or AC Shadows, or Borderlands 4, or Avowed, or overpriced basic-ass ports of Galaxy 1 and 2, or that fucking PS2 Pokemon game, which Game Freak had the utter nerve to shit out. Next year also does not look too hot right now. True, we have the, alleged release of GTA 6. That'd be pretty fucking sweet. I'm personally looking forward to Resident Evil Requiem, and Dragon Quest VII Reimagined looks cool. But that's it. Something about 007 First Light sets off all of my AAA slop alarms. It looks more like a poor man's Uncharted than a Bond game by the Hitman devs. It doesn't look or feel very Bond at all, an absolute disgrace to a British icon. Of course, more games will be revealed and released as the year goes on, but fuck, right now it's looking pretty bleak. Looks like I'm going to have to focus on my royal duties. Boring. Speaking of shit I need to get done, I better wrap this up. Merry Christmas, gamers. And remember, fuck Nintendo.